The Cop and the Anthem is a humorous story. Soapy, the vagabond, was looking in search of a shelter in Windus. He was a jobless and homeless man. Furthermore, Soapy became restless due to the approaching winter, the harsh winter in in America. As such, Soapy wanted shelter, and the Blackwell Island prison came to his mind. He was already been there many times, being a criminal. Consequently, he tried to get arrested for the winter season duration. 3 months of harsh winter is coming, so he is devising certain plans to go to this coveted island where he can have free food and shelter. Soapy is a lazy vagabond, criminal, who wants to enter this the prison. And the story is Soapy's different ways of he is trying different plans he makes to try to enter this jail. So O. Henry describes humorously the way Soapy tries to enter this coveted island. O. Henry is a famous American writer. His actual name is William Sidney Porter. He adopted the pen name O. Henry for his writings. He was a voracious reader since his childhood. He started a humorous weekly, and the name of this weekly was Rolling Stone. And when this venture failed, he joined the Houston Post as a reporter, columnist, and an occasional cartoonist. The story, The Cop and the Anthem, is one of Henry's well-known stories. To describe his style of writing, people have often used the terms smile with tears, which implies a twisted way of thoughts and ending in almost every story. So that is all about O. Henry. And there are two famous stories that O. Henry has written, and that is The Cop and the Anthem and The Gift of Maggie. So these are the two major stories that O. Henry. Take to page number 27. There are some icebreakers there. Suppose you have gone to a place where the winter season is very severe. Discuss with your partner the ways in which you will protect yourself in the cold climate. So there are five columns are given, five slots are given. Ways to protect from cold climate. Wear sweaters, jackets and other woolen material. Wear thick socks, caps, gumboots, etc. Sitting near the fireplace or heaters. Drink a lot of fluids, eat a lot of fatty foods, etc. So all these can save you in a cold climate. Now relieved. So when you see a cop approaching, you feel either relieved or scared. Sometimes you may have neither of these reaction, because if you don't have nothing to do with a cop. Discuss with your partner the situation when you feel relieved or scared. You feel relieved when you are walking alone in a dark street, when you are encountering some criminals on the way or suspicious elements standing there, or when you see some kind of dreaded or some kind of problems on the way, or you are walking through a lonely street in the so dark wee hours of night, you see a cop there, you feel relieved. Now there are some cases when you feel scared, when you are riding a bike without a valid driving license, when you are driving a car without having proper papers, or when you have done something offensive or hit somebody on the road. All these things are the time when you are scared when you see a cop. Discuss now. Third one is discuss some motivating things that can change a person's life. One is given listening to an inspiring speech. People can be changed by listening to inspire. Many people are motivated by this. Sometimes you read a story, or sometimes you listen to music. Sometimes when you are listening to some movie or watching some movie, all this can make you inspired, or some advice from somebody. All this can make an inspiration for you. Here Soapy is also inspired. In the first case, Soapy was searching for to relieve the cold climate, and he found the jail as a better place, the winter hour island, the coveted island, a better place. And Soapy was not at all scared of the cop, because he wanted to make some trouble and go to the winter island or to the jail. So he was always happy meeting the cop. So these three things are the main issues that we are going to face in this story. We will face Soapy is connected with these three events. Already I have read something about this story. Soapy the vagabond, that is he is the protagonist of this story. The story, The Cop and Anthem, is one of Henry's well-known stories. In this story, the main character, protagonist Soapy, is a vagabond, a homeless person, a tramp, and a person who has gone astray. And easy way he is searching to get money by doing some crimes, or he is a criminal by nature. He thinks that life in imprisonment is better than freedom. He don't want to have freedom because he cannot survive in the freedom. He wants imprisonment. He wants imprisonment so that he can survive in the confinement of the jail for the next 3 months. Next 3 months. 3 months. He do not have a house and sleeps on the park bench. We are going to see the designs that Soapy has made. Soapy wants to go to the prison, and it is in the Blackwell Island. He has been there many times, so he calls it as the Winter Island, coveted island, or limbo, because he finds it difficult to enter there again. Soapy makes different plans to re-enter the prison, as he has no shelter to protect himself from the severe winter. Soapy wants to get arrested, as he feels that there is freedom in confinement in jail. Maybe he wants to escape the responsibilities and anxieties in real life, and he finds jail as a comfortable place where he will not have to work for his livelihood. Soapy earnestly desires to be confined to a jail. The writer describes Soapy's unsuccessful attempts to get arrested in a very, very humorous way. So that is the Soapy's plan, and we are going to see throughout the lesson how Soapy is devising this plan. So now please turn to your textbook and see the first paragraph that you see there. Okay. So in this lesson, you can see. So in this lesson, you can see Soapy stood up from his bench and strolled out to the square. He is coming out open into the public street, and across the level sea asphalt is moving through the excavations, working places of the road, where Broadway and Fifth Avenue flow together. Two roads meeting here. Up the Broadway, he turned and stopped at the luxurious cafe. So he came near a very, very beautiful, luxurious cafe. And this is the first plan that he has, or the first attempt Soapy is trying to do to enter the prison. Soapy was confident, but only half confident, because he was shaven. He had a beautiful coat, and trim and neat, black bow tie. All this has been presented by a lady missionary on a Thanksgiving day. If only he could, now he need some luck. And what is the luck he needs? That when he goes into the what you call the restaurant, he should go inside unnoticed. If somebody notices him, then definitely he will be stopped, because people like Soapy are not meant for this restaurant, because only people who are rich, identified as rich, can be allowed inside this restaurant. He has all thing only confidence up to the west. Rest of that, he is having only the problem of having tattered trousers and decadent shoes. So that is Soapy's problem. Soapy has made some definite plans there. He wants to enter this restaurant, and he has thought of things that he will eat there. And first one is a roasted mallard duck. Then he thinks of a bottle of wine, and then some cheese, a cup of coffee, and a cigar. But he needs $1 for the cigar, and that is more than enough. And the cafe management will. So that is what he has planned. He would have it all and would not pay for it. Poor Soapy hoped that the cafe management would call the police and get him arrested of non payment of the bill. But the head waiter noticed this, his tattered trousers and decadent shoes. So there ends Soapy's try. But as Soapy set foot inside the restaurant door, the head waiter's eye fell upon his tattered trousers and decadent shoes. Strong and ready hands turned him about and conveyed him in silence and haste to the sidewalk. So the head waiter came outside and asked Soapy to move out into the pavement, into the sidewalk, and averted an ignoble, unavoidable fate of menaced mallard. Otherwise, it would have been a trouble for the head waiter. After eating, he had to call the police, and all trouble would come up. So that he avoided that menace of having Soapy inside and all those problems. He had rightly guessed, so he was expert in understanding people, because he really sees people. So many people comes here and he understands who is rich and who is not rich. And he has rightly guessed that Soapy was penniless and denied him the entry. The Soapy's first plan to get arrested failed. Poor Soapy failed in his first attempt to go to jail. So now, after this incident, Soapy understood that it is a limbo. Reaching a coveted island is a limbo. It's a very difficult thing. It's not easy. Now Soapy is trying the second attempt. He got immediately something to do to directly encounter a cop. At the corner of the 6th Avenue, electric lights and cunningly displayed wares behind the plate glass made a shop window attractive. So it's a beautiful shop, full of glass, completely covered with glass panes, and inside that every glass things were arranged very nicely and beautifully. It's a beautiful shop. And Soapy now understands this is his very good chance to go to jail. He took a stone and dashed it through the glass. The glass broke with a loud noise, loud bang. People all came running, listening to this big, huge sound. And a policeman also was in lead with these people to know what has happened. And Soapy was standing there, unafraid, relaxed, enjoying, thinking that he will be immediately caught, with his hands in the pockets, and smiled at the police officer. The police officer was a little bit angry and asking Soapy, "Where is the man that done that?" Inquired the officer very angrily, agitatedly. And what was the reply of this Soapy? Very humorous reply he gave. "Don't you know that? Think that I might have had something to do with it," said Soapy with a friendly voice. So this is what Soapy has replied. So the police officer did not believe Soapy at all. The police officer did not believe Soapy. How can he believe him? Who will stand there when after doing such kind of a crime? Anybody who does such kind of a crime will immediately take to heels. They will just run away. And on seeing the police, they will not be found anywhere there. They will run as fast as they could. But Soapy is standing there smiling. Which police officer will believe that Soapy has actually done it? He knew, and police officers know that men who smash windows just ran away from there. So this police officer was not even willing to accept him as a witness. Just when the police officer saw, so he just avoided Soapy. The policeman saw a man halfway down the block running to catch a car. This is the only man running. So police officer guessed that this may be the person. Soapy is innocent man. The man who is running after catching a taxi may be the right person to who has done this crime. With his drawn club, joined the pursuit, and everybody are running after this man now. He will be caught. Soapy, with disgust in his heart, drifted along, twice unsuccessful. So Soapy was totally disgusted, frustrated. 2 times he tried now. 2 very big incidents he has done. But both the incidents became unsuccessful. All his plans are not working. Plans are very good, but not working. That is what Soapy is now completely frustrated. Now Soapy is doing a 3rd attempt to go to the jail. On the opposite side of the street was a restaurant of no great pretensions, a poor restaurant, very ordinary restaurant, 3rd class restaurant, 2nd grade or a 3rd grade restaurant. And author describes this restaurant. It catered to large appetite. People who are laborers or poor people who eat a lot with having modest purses, less money. Its crockery was thick, atmosphere was thick, but the napery, soup, everything was thin, full of water, because they have to give to a lot of people. And Soapy entered this place. There's no challenge of entering this place because people like Soapy comes to this place. People who are looking like Soapy comes to this place. So no waiter will stop Soapy here. And at the table he sat and consumed whatever he liked to have. He consumed beef stick, flapjacks, donuts and pie. And after consuming this, he called the waiter and told the waiter that the minutest coin and himself were total strangers. That means he don't have a single piece of money with him. Or the minutest coin and himself were total strangers. This is what Soapy told the waiter. And so that after doing this, Soapy now asked the waiter to call the police immediately. Don't wait, go and call the police immediately. But the waiter was not willing to do anything because he is not interested in calling a policeman inside. No cough for you, said the waiter, with a voice like a buttercake and eye like a cherry in Manhattan cocktail. Soft voice like cake and eyes like red eyes like a tough. So he's a tough man. He did not want to call. He did not want to call a cop. Instead, he just told that no cop for you, and he just 2 waiters came together. He told 2 strong waiters took up the Soapy. One caught the hand and one caught the leg, and they just threw Soapy onto the pavement. He just arose from there like the carpenter's rule opens. Dusted his clothes, and now he became very, very dejected. It seems Soapy's his dream of imprisonment would never come true. He wondered if he had become immune to arrest. He was in a state of panic because the winter is coming closer, and he tried now 3 times, 3 attempts three very good plans were executed, and all the three miserably failed. And that is why Soapy thinks that he is immune to arrest. Nobody can arrest him. He is in a state of panic now because his ambition of going to the jail, or his plan of going to the jail, is miserably failing. Now Soapy just drifted along. When he came upon, he was in a state of panic, and when he came upon another policeman, longing grandly in front of a glittering theatre, he caught an immediate straw of disorderly conduct. Soapy saw a policeman longing grandly in front of a glittering theatre, beautiful theatre. He decided to do something to get arrested. The most easiest way to get arrested, that is to misbehave on the street. Disorderly behavior, disorderly conduct that he should do, so that the policeman will arrest him. So he began to yell, make loud noise, very big noise, at the top of his harsh voice, to catch the attention of the policeman. Then he danced, howled, raved, and caused a lot of disturbance on the road. But what happened? The policeman simply turned. His back to Soapy and remarked. What he remarked? It's one of those Yale lads celebrating the goose egg they give to Hatted College. Noisy but no harm, we have instruction to let them be. Oh, that is what Soapy failing a Yale. The copy is telling that, remarked to be a citizen, that one of the Yale students, and celebrating their failure in exam. The policeman further said that there were instructions to ignore these lads and not make any action against them, as they are noisy but not harmful. Thus, this attempt of Soapy to fail. With each failed attempt, Soapy became more and more restless, and he was dying to get arrested. He was eager to go to the jail, but Soapy was miserably failing. Soapy becomes disconsolate. Soapy stopped, and he understood that his dream of going to the island is unattainable Arcadia. Now the winter is becoming harsh and the cold wind is coming. Suddenly Soapy is getting another very beautiful, very good opportunity to get arrested. In a cigar store, he saw a well-dressed man lighting a cigar at the swinging light. Before going inside to buy the cigar and light it there, this man has set his silk umbrella by the door. Soapy stepped inside. Soapy now got the golden chance of stealing this umbrella. Soapy went there so that this man can notice him, and grabbed the umbrella before him and sauntered off with it slowly. He just relaxed, he just walked relaxingly so that this man can follow him. But the man was following him hastily because Soapy is a thief who has taken his umbrella. After reaching near to Soapy, he told, "My umbrella." But what was Soapy telling? "Oh, is it?" Sneered, mocked Soapy. Insult to the petty theft. Well, why don't you call a policeman? That is what Soapy is asking. Please call the policeman immediately. Why don't you call a cop? There stands one at the corner. He is pointing there. There is the cop. Please call him and get me arrested fast. And this made the umbrella owner surprised. He was taken aback and he stopped. He slowed his steps. With some kind of magic, Soapy also stopped moving faster because he was afraid that luck may again fail him. So that is why. And the policeman was watching both of them. He was watching them curiously what these people are acting on the street. Now, so that is what happened in this case. Suddenly there was some surprise. The umbrella man apologized. Soapy was taken aback. Because this umbrella was not his own. And he has accidentally picked it up from the restaurant in the morning. So he told Soapy, of course, said the umbrella man, well, you know how these mistakes occur. If it's your umbrella, I hope you will excuse me. I picked it up this morning in the restaurant. Actually, umbrella man was scared when Soapy told him to call the police because he now thinks that he will be arrested. If you recognize it is yours, why I hope you will. If you recognize it, please take it. Now when he saw Soapy walking away with the umbrella, he was unafraid. He thought it would be Soapy's umbrella. But for Soapy, it is another failure again. Poor Soapy, he failed to get arrested the fifth time. He was a bit angry. Soapy walked, the cop has ran for some other purpose. To attend a blonde in the open clock across the street in front of the street car that was approaching 2 blocks away. Soapy is now getting angry against men who wear helmets and carry clubs. He is angry, really angry at them because he wanted to run into their clutches. He wanted to fall into their clutches. They seemed to regard him as a king who could do nothing wrong. Soapy was dejected mood. He was mentally disturbed because all his plans were very nicely executed. Very nice plan. If a small amount of this plan was enough to get arrested. But all his plans went wrong. He was mentally disturbed and badly frustrated as all his attempts to get arrested has failed. In spite of trying his best, luck was not ready to favor him. He was unlucky all throughout this. So that is how Soapy was. So Soapy was still walking. He has thrown away the umbrella and is now in having only faint hope or totally frustrated. He don't have any hope to get arrested now. He is in a frustrated mood. And he has come to the east avenues, to the east where glitter and turmoil was but faint, very quiet place of the city. He came to Madison Square and there he had the homing instinct because so many years back he was living here as a small boy, as an young man, but he was so different at that time. So Soapy has reached this place where once he lived. Soapy came to a standstill. Soapy reached a quiet corner and halted near an old church where an organist played the anthem with great skill. There was an organist playing organ because it is Saturday evening and the organist was busy playing the organ for the next day's Sunday service, when the music will be played there, when people will be singing anthems and songs, and the organist was rehearsing his song so that he can play well the next day. But it has pierced into the hearts of Soapy. It proved a mood changer for him. The music notes remained him of good old days. So when the time he was different, next day Sabbath, anthems touched him so strongly. Soapy's ears, sweet music pierced through it and transfixed against his convulsions of iron fence. He remembered those old beautiful days when he was a nice boy with so many ambitions, mothers, roses, ambitions, friends, immaculate thoughts and collars with beautiful shirts. All these things he remembered. It came to his mind like a flashback. He went back into the reverie of those beautiful days of his life. The conjunctions of Soapy's receptive state of mind and the influences about the old church brought a sudden wonderful change in his soul. He is a changed man. The church and the music has brought a sudden and wonderful change in Soapy. His reveries changed him. He was horrified to see his own degradation. He has seen from where he has fallen down into this present mire that he is in. Unworthy desires, degradation of his life, unworthy desires, dead hopes, base motives, dead life. Soapy repented now. He repented badly. He has gone astray, spoiled himself from a good boy, good young man to one of the criminal, vagabond, useless gay, living on the park bench. He has fallen into this pit miserably, he understood. Soapy now resolved to change his ways. He would no more continue with his antisocial ways. He would lead a prestigious life. He would change himself. So he also he thrillingly to the strange mood. He is now a changed man. Strong impulse moved him to battle his desperate fact of life. He now resolved himself to change his ways and change himself into a good man, good young man as he has been before. He would pull himself out of the mire and would make a man of himself again. He would conquer the evil that had enslaved him. There was time he was young at. He would resurrect his old eager ambitions and pursue them without flattering, without falling. Those solemn but sweet organ notes had set up a revolution in him, a change in him, a change to become a good man. Tomorrow he would go into Roaring Town district and find a work. Soapy is totally changed man. A man who wanted to go to the jail now wants to go to work, find a work. A fur importer had once offered him a place as a driver. He would be somebody in the world. His resolution, he would. That is what Soapy is determined now, to change his ways and become somebody who is good in society. But sometimes fate plays a different role. Soapy felt a hand laid an arm. He looked quickly around into the impassive face of a policeman. Somebody has put a hand over his shoulder. He looked back to see an impassive face of a policeman. And the policeman asked him, "What are you doing here?" asked the officer. "Nothing," said Soapy. "Then come along," said the policeman. So Soapy was at last arrested. So that is the irony of fate here. The moment Soapy decided to mend his ways, be somebody in the world, the policeman laid hands on him, caught him and arrested him for suspiciously lingering near the church, longing around aimlessly. Soapy was presented before the magistrate the next day and was sentenced to 3 months imprisonment by the magistrate. So that is the end of this beautiful story. But the story ends on an unhappy note. As we have told, like, oh, sweet it is like smile and tears. So all the smile ends here into tears. Soapy, we all wanted to refine himself and lead a very beautiful life again. But we have sympathy for him, but we feel grieved to read about his tragic end. Poor Soapy. When he wanted to change, he could not change. Society is like this. The society, when people, this is the fate, this is the society. The irony of society and irony of fate. For example, when the cop, he wanted the cops to arrest him, none of the cops was. He was done all kinds of things for the cop to arrest him, but none of them laid hands on him because he was immune to arrest. But at last, now when Soapy want to change his life and become a good man and lead a good life and a better man in life, he gets 3 months imprisonment sentence. So that is the irony of fate. So that is what this beautiful story is describing.